Hello, my name is Benjamin Timothy Goby, and for my project, the BTG Interviews, today I'm interviewing
Tim Bentinck.
What are you known for, Tim?
Well, I'm best known for being the voice of David Archer in The Archers, which I've been playing for the last 36 years. But I work in television, in films, radio, voice. My autobiography that came out 2 years ago is called Being David Archer and Other Unusual Ways of Earning a Living, because in order to be able to make a fist of this profession, you have to be able to turn your hand to pretty well everything. So in the book I explain about what it's like to basically survive as an actor. And in fact, in my 20s I was starring in television series, and then through my mid sort of 30s and 40s, nice sort of supporting roles in tellies and films, and still keep doing that. But most of my work really comes from various different kinds of voice work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually working pretty much every day. So it's, I've managed to make a fist of it.
Where were you born, where did you grow up, and at what age did you start acting?
I was born on a sheep station in Tasmania, and because my parents had emigrated after the war, because he figured that there was going to be nuclear conflict with the Soviet Union, and that was the last place that would get nuclear fallout. So he took his whole family out to Tassie, and I was born there and came back, and I was brought up in a little village called Potton End, which is just outside Berkhamsted in Hertfordshire. And I went to school at Harrow, and then I went to university at the University of East Anglia, where I did history of art, for want of anything better to do really, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and then joined the Drama Society and just did plays all the time. And at the end of the 3 years I got a 2-2 in history of art, which I'd never used. And then I went to drama school in Bristol, just down the road here, Bristol Orbit Theatre School. Shared a flat in my first year with a young man called Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know ever what happened to him. He didn't get David Archer. I had 2 fantastic years at Bristol, and we bought a house in Totterdown, and I did it up, and we sold it a few years later for twice the price. Managed to turn it into a nice house, and that deposit bought the house in London, where we still live to this day. Bought the house in 1982, and we're still there.
Wow. Number 2, what has been your best and most challenging roles in your career?
Well, I mean, in terms of income, the best, I suppose, is being in The Archers, because that's provided about a third of my income every year, and there's a certain kind of regularity to that. In terms of the ones I'm most pleased with, things that nobody's ever seen, there's a short which is on my website. Well, this is my website, which is bentinck.net, but there's another website that I wrote, because I do lots of computer stuff on the side, called beingdavidarcher.net, which is a little short film called Locked Up, which is a bank robber and his 2 sons. Mm-hmm. And we spent 2 days in a car doing this. I play this rough villain, right, with his 2 sons. And we've done a bank job, and we find ourselves locked in the car, can't get out of it. And it's very funny, and it's the one that makes me laugh most. But I mean, I've done it, I've done so much. There's nothing that I can really kind of put my finger on. In terms of challenging, the theatre is always the most difficult, because telly's quite, I love, my favourite place in the world is the film set, and doing TV and film is it's quite easy, because if you go wrong, you just go and do it again. Theatre is the most taxing, and I've just finished playing the lead in a play called Brexit, which we did up at the Edinburgh Fringe for 4 weeks, and then we transferred down to the King's Head in Islington, and I was the Prime Minister, and I'm on stage the entire time, and I've got all most of the lines. And as you get older, it gets harder and harder. It's all, theatre's a young man's game really, and as you get older, especially if you haven't done it for a bit, which I haven't. And before that, the last theatre I'd done was Educating Rita down at the Watermill Theatre in Newbury, again, that's 2 hours on stage, non-stop, and that, you know, I mean, it's harsh. It's, you know, it's scary. I think my theatre days are over. Really, I like it safe now. And also I can earn more money without having to get so frightened.
Open the boat! You spat! You check your pockets.
Yes, I've checked my pocket.
Well, when did you last have them?
Well, I bought this halloumi wrap.
What, you bought a wrap?
Halloumi wrap? Well, I had to go to the toilet and it's for paying customers, so I had to buy a wrap. You can't just go in.
You left the car?
Yes, I left the car. Oh. Well, I was busting for a piss, you lot, for ages.
Of course we were ages. We were robbing the fucking bank. Oh, God. Christ, if you want anything done, this fucking place, you have to do it yourself.
What are you doing?
Out the way. Out the way.
What are you doing?
I'm hot wiring the car. What's it look like?
Well,
move your knee. There. Right. Seatbelts on. Right. Get in. Right, calm down. Gently drive away. Just drive away. Fucking hell!
Is there any role or character you would like to portray in the future, and why?
I want to be a Bond villain. That's really, that's the one I'm aiming for now.
Bond villain?
Yeah, Bond villain. For a long time I wanted to be James Bond, and my name is Timothy Bentinck, and when Timothy Dalton got the part of James Bond, I thought that pretty much puts the seal on, they're not going to go Timothy Dum Dum to another Timothy Dum Dum. I thought just simply on the nomenclature, that's the end of my aspirations to play James Bond. But I have worked with Roger Moore, so at least I've worked with a James Bond. No, I think a Bond villain is top of the list, really.
Which actors, actresses, directors and writers have you enjoyed working with before, and are there any you would like to work with in the future?
I worked out recently that I've worked with every single living Doctor Who, apart from Matt Smith and now Jodie, who were all lovely. When I came out of drama school, I got a film called North Sea Hijack, and I found myself one day doing a night shoot on a boat, and I was in a little cabin with Roger Moore, Anthony Perkins, and James Mason telling jokes, and I thought this is what it's going to always be like.
Yeah.
I thought that's it. You know, film starred, and here we are telling gags with Roger Moore, and he's very funny, Roger, and very filthy too. They're all filthy jokes, and I just thought, I can't believe my luck here. I'm telling dirty jokes with James Bond.
Next question.
Yep.
And is there any you want to work with? Is it Matt Smith and Jodie Whittaker you were answering, is it?
People I want to work with. Honestly, I haven't got any aspirations. You know, the thing is, I've been doing this job for such a long time. I've worked with lots of big names.
Yeah.
And some of them are nice, and some of them aren't. Some of them are selfish, and some of them are generous. When I was doing Pirates of Penzance with Tim Curry and in the movie it was with Kevin Kline and Linda Ronstadt and Kevin. I mean, there you go. Well, in fact, there's an answer. Kevin Kline, one of the nicest people you could possibly imagine. I worked with him on the movie when I was a pirate, and then I got to do the show in the West End, and I ended up, because I was second understudy, I ended up playing the lead, playing the Pirate King. I went on and I had no rehearsal. Suddenly I'm playing the lead in a West End musical. I've never rehearsed it, never done it. So that was a bit scary. And then Tim Curry got ill, and I actually took over the part. I went to put him to the #1 dressing room. And I rang Kevin Kline in New York and said, can you give me some pointers on how to play this? And he said, "Are you paying for this call?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll call you back." He called me back, and for an hour he spoke to me, telling me how to play this part, which was, pretty good of him. He was and then he came to tea. There we were in our house in Islington in London. Suddenly this huge great limo turns up because he was over to publicise, I can't remember which film it was, he was doing a red carpet film. And turns up Kevin Kline comes to tea. That was pretty good fun. But in terms of wanting to work with people, I mean, basically I want to work with people who are, who are good and who are nice guys or women, because there are a few arseholes out there, and you don't want to work with them.
No. Question 5. How do you feel your career in acting has progressed over the years, and are there any areas in acting you would like to further develop?
Well, I can safely say, read my book, Being David Archer and Other Unusual Ways of Earning a Living. It tells a story of how to survive, really. I've had my ups and I've had my downs. I've had very, very high points of fame, and I've had times of being seriously out of work and being depressed. And that's the nature of the game as an actor. So if any budding actors out there, read the book and some guidelines into how to do it, how not to do it. Sorry, what was the rest of the question?
And are there any areas in acting you would like to further develop?
I kind of put my finger in every single pie going, I mean, there isn't really an area of acting that I haven't done. And I'm always open to new challenges. The one thing that I haven't really fully done is improv. I did a thing called theatre sports at the Donmar Warehouse when I was in my 20s. And recently, when I was up in Edinburgh, I was working with a girl called Pippa Evans, and she's in a show called Showstopper. I don't know if you've ever seen Showstopper. No. It's an improvised musical. It's the most brilliant thing you've ever seen. They walk on stage, and for an hour, they create a fully fledged West End musical with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and people you care about, and they improvise show tunes, and you come away humming them and singing them, and my jaw is on the floor. And normally, I look at stuff and go, well, they're not doing it right, or, oh, I wish I could do that. But with this, I'm looking at it in awe, going, whoa, there's a whole area of work to do really good improv. That is, again, it's scary and testing, and it's always good to face your demons and overcome them and come out the other side of them. So improv, I think, probably is the answer to that question.
Question 6, finally, do you have any advice for me or anyone who wants to go into acting or any other job in film, TV, radio, or stage work?
I think you have to decide which. I think you either say, I'm going to be an actor, in which case, if you're going to be an actor, train, go to a drama school. It really helps. You can get lucky. The other thing is, on the subject of luck, a lot of it is just luck. I was at drama school with people who were really good actors who never made it, and some who I was with at drama school who become household names who, never really, who weren't great, but got lucky. So I'm naming no names whatsoever, but the people that you're at drama school. I mean, Daniel, I never put Dan down as being a three times Oscar winner. He was my mate.
Lincoln was one of his Oscars, wasn't it? Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln. Yeah. Dan and I used to eat too many peanut butter and jam sandwiches, and he was a very fast runner. He always used to beat me when we went for a run. I never had him down as, the greatest. He was good. Yeah. But no, to answer your question, I think you need to decide, and if you're going to be an actor, then be an actor. I mean, I had to face the decision as to whether to be an actor or a musician, because I play guitar and I write songs and I'm quite good. And I could have gone down that path, and I made the decision to be an actor. And it's tough, and a lot of it is luck. And you can have everything going for you. You can be a brilliant actor. You can be the best-looking person in the world. You can have a great agent and still not make it. And you can have all those things going against you and still make it. So it's really, really difficult. But the more you need to dedicate yourself to it. If you're going to be a director, do what you're doing now. Go and work on films. Work as a runner. Start off as a runner and learn the business and learn the whole thing. It's hard. Filming is like a military discipline. A big film is run like the military. and you've got to turn up, and you've got to work hard, and you've got to, you know, swallow your pride sometimes. You know, let people tell you what to do. Sometimes they're going to be rude to you. You know. And there's an old adage in acting: never be rude to the runner, because you never know, in about 5 years' time you might be your director. You know, so be nice. Be nice. You know, don't be an arse. Basically, is the thing. Be nice. Be nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for very good reasons. There are people out there who aren't, who are really difficult to work with and rude and horrible. And you go, well, why are you doing that? Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be the good guy. Be a good company member.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.